what are the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when pricing their house for sale? Now stay tuned, we're going to go over all these in detail and show you how to price your house in any market. So when I started in this business about 12 years ago, I was primarily just flipping houses, looking for beat up properties that we could fix up to then sell for a profit. And so half of the time I would spend just looking at what properties eventually could be worth, also known as the ARV, the after repaired value. So most of my time was spent just on the computer looking at what things could be worth before I even went out looking at houses. And there's a lot of guessing that goes on in it. And I was eventually trained by an appraiser on how they do their job, and it opened up a whole new world for me. Now, since working with traditional clients over the last 6 years, it has given me a bigger appreciation on how to price homes, how to make adjustments for things. But there are so many common mistakes that people make when it comes to pricing their houses. Number one is trusting the big websites on the values of your house. And you know who I'm talking about: Zillow, Trulia, Redfin. And I don't blame people for going there, and I hear it all the time. Heck, I check on them once in a while just to see what they say a house could possibly be worth. Now, the problem is it doesn't dig into the nuances of your house style or your year built in comparison to other properties. They're just algorithms, and they're not going to be as detailed as what we can pull as an agent. Now, to be fair, you don't have access to the same information that we do, but it's probably the biggest thing and the biggest mistake that I see people make is trusting what these big websites say their house is worth. Now this next one is a big one, and this is where you do have to typically involve a broker or a real estate agent, is to find out the comps for your neighborhood. I was trained by an appraiser, as I stated, and this is the process that I go through every single time that I look at what the potential value of a house can be. No matter what condition of it is, we always start with what is top of the market value. So let's look at the different rules that we apply to help us gain that knowledge. So the first thing I'm going to do whenever looking at any property out there is I'm first going to go to county records and type in the address, and I'm going to get what the exact square footage is. Then I'm going to come into the MLS and I'm going to draw my map of the neighborhood that house is in. Now, not every neighborhood is the same, and this is where algorithms goof up. Because like we can see in this neighborhood, it's kind of a small neighborhood, yet within a quarter of a mile we have I-25. So if you cross that line, you got a different neighborhood. You go south of Hamden in this area, different neighborhood. North of Yale, different neighborhood. Now, even within University Hills that we're looking at right now, the other side of Dahlia, which is just a through street, has very different values, and algorithms will never detect that. And I am going to look up everything that is active, pending, and closed in the last 6 months. It's very important to note, folks, the sooner time frames you can use, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, are way more accurate than going 12 months out. In our current market, 12 months ago was a very different environment than it is today. Single family properties, we're not looking at townhouses here, and then the square footage, this is one of the big ones. Whenever comping a property, you need to stay within 20% of the square footage. Anything more than that, anything less than that, and an appraiser 99% of the time will not use. So we're at 1,500 square feet, so we're approximately 1,100 to 1,800 square feet. And that gives us 32 matches. Now, I may dig into this one just a little bit further to see if this has a garage. So it's got an attached garage and it's got one carport. So now we're down to 21. Okay, we're getting better. So when I look at these results, we've got 2 active. One at 725, one at 490, but they're fairly big differences in square footage. One's at 1,650 square feet, the other one 1,162. So definitely on the opposite ends of the spectrum for these comparable sales. But we can see prices anywhere from 870, 785, 760, 700, all the way down to 450,000. So that is quite a big range. So let's go in and look. We've got this one at 725 on the market. Look through pictures. It's nicely updated. This looks like a recent rehab. And then we've got this one at 490. Just an average looking house. And we're going to look at the condition of them, and then we're going to place the house that we're looking to sell in between the price levels of the condition of the property. So pulling comparable sales, pulling within 20% of square footage in the same neighborhood with a garage, if it has one, if there's a big difference in the neighborhood, potentially narrowing down by the number of bedrooms, if it paints a clear picture that there's a value difference between, let's say, 2 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms, which a lot of times there is. And then the big one, too, is the style of house. Ranch versus bi-level, tri-level, 2-story. It makes a huge difference. Ranches are the most desirable homes in the United States, where bi-levels are the least desirable by the floor plan because you have no choice other than to take stairs. Right when you get in, you got to go either up or down. So once again, that is the number 2 biggest mistake that I see people making when trying to price their house, is not pulling the accurate comps. And the number 3 biggest mistake I see people make when trying to price their house is actually using a prior appraisal. Now, that seems really counterintuitive. Maybe you had an appraisal 3 months ago, 6 months ago for a refinance on your house. But ask any agent you know, and they're going to tell you that there is a vast difference between an appraisal that you're getting for a refinance versus selling your property. Refinance appraisals tend to be a lot softer than when you go to sell your property. However, your agent, while selling the property, should come up with an appraisal package that helps determine what has been done to the property over the last handful of years, any repairs or upgrades that are made, as well as the comparable sales that they used to price the property, because let's be real. We're all human. We all miss things. We all make mistakes. And I would invite you, if you want to take a deep dive into the real value of your house, I have a link below. You can click on it. Now, we do have an algorithm on our website to tell you what your immediate home value would be, but you can also click further than that and it will send me a direct message, and I will get you a full comparative market analysis with all the real comparative sales in your neighborhood, so you can see exactly what your house could sell for in today's market. And once again, I hope this has been of great value. If you need anything, I'm here. And until the next time, happy housing.